In this webinar, I will be explaining how the Electoral College works. I will be answering these specific questions. What exactly is the Electoral College? When did the process of the Electoral College start? How many electors are there? How many electors are there in each state? What are safe states and swing states? And the pros and cons of the Electoral College. Hopefully, by the end of this video, you will have a better understanding of the Electoral College and be able to have an educated opinion on the system. To start, what exactly is the Electoral College? The Electoral College is a group of people appointed by each state who elect the President and Vice President of the United States. It came from the Constitution of the United States, Article 2, Section 1, Clause 2, which was ratified in 1788. It states that each state shall appoint in such manner as the legislature thereof may direct a number of electors equal to the whole number of senators and representatives to which the state may be entitled in the Congress, but no senator or representative or person holding an office of trust or profit under the United States shall be appointed an elector. Now you may be wondering how many electors are there and why. Well, since 1964, there have been 538 electors in each presidential election. They decided on this number by adding up the total voting membership of the United States Congress. There are 435 representatives, 100 senators, and 3 electors in the District of Columbia. Next, let's answer the question of how many electors are there in each state. Each state receives a particular number of electors based on population size. It is important to note that every 10 years the number of electors per state can change due to the census. This is another reason that shows the census is important and why you should fill out the form that you recently received in the mail. You may have heard of the terms safe states and swing states used by the media, but do you know what they mean? The definition of safe states is a state in which the past 4 elections voted with the same political party. An example of one state would be Oregon. In 2004, 2008, 2012, and 2016, this state voted Democrat. To define a swing state, that is a state that has voted for different political parties in the last 4 years. An example of one state could be Nevada. This state has voted both Democrat and Republican in the past 4 years. The system has both pros and cons. I will address both in this video. First, let's start with the pros. The system encourages coalition building and national campaigning. Let me explain. For a candidate to win, they need the support of many different types of voters from different parts of the country. If a candidate only wins the southern states or Midwest, they cannot obtain 270 electoral votes. If a candidate only needed the majority of votes, they would only visit states or cities with the highest populations. Why would the candidates care about lower population states like Montana? And candidates cannot ignore what they view as safe states for too long because they could flip at any time. Now to address the cons. Some citizens' votes weigh more than others. As mentioned before, each state receives a particular number of votes based on population size. This is still true, but before those votes are distributed, each state starts with 3 electors. The states with lesser populations who should only have 1 or 2 electoral votes now have 4 or 5. Because of starting each state with 3, it takes away from states with higher populations that should have 1 to 10 more electoral votes. The next issue is that the candidate takes all the electoral votes in a particular state, if they win a majority. If a candidate obtains 51% of the votes in any given state, they get all the electoral votes instead of just 51% of them. Now, do these cons argue that because of the flaws in the system we should not vote? No. It's still important to vote for the president. The next presidential election voting date is Tuesday, November 3rd, 2020. Your vote really does count, so do not forget to vote. You never know when your state is no longer going to be a safe state. Thank you everyone for listening to my webinar today. Hopefully now you have a better understanding of what the Electoral College is and its pros and cons.